We're privileged now to hear remarks on behalf of the graduating seniors from one of their classmates, Elizabeth Mugo, who served this year as president of the student body. Elizabeth calls both Roiro, Kenya, and Irmo, South Carolina, home. She's a sociology and anthropology major with a minor in poverty and human capability studies. She served as the executive committee's vice president in 2017-18, and in April of this year completed her term as EC president. She's the first Black woman to hold that office. Elizabeth was one of the 3 student members of the Commission on Institutional History and Community. She's a member of the Omicron Delta Kappa National Leadership Fraternity and an Owings Fellow. She served as a member of the University Committee for Inclusiveness and Campus Climate and as both co-president and co-vice president of the Student Association for Black Unity. Active in community engagement, Elizabeth led 3 volunteer venture trips and served as a senior intern in the Bonner program, partnering with such community organizations as College Access and CARE, the Rockbridge Area Community Anti-Racism Effort. For the immediate future, Elizabeth will depart in September for the Nyarugusu refugee camp in Tanzania, where she will be a Fulbright scholar conducting anthropology research on displaced individuals' perceptions of life after resettlement. Afterwards, she hopes to begin a career in public policy focused on refugee resettlement reform. Please join me in welcoming Elizabeth Mugo.
Good morning, Washington and Lee faculty, staff, family, friends, and members of the class of 2019. Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge all the people who made this event possible, facilities, dining, student volunteers, and a big thanks just for making this moment a reality. Now, my fellow graduates, we've all thought about this day since September 6th, 2018, when our senior year officially began. And I'm sure many of us can relate, this day both feels like a long time coming and like we just started college yesterday. It feels like yesterday we were moving boxes of our stuff into Gaines and Graham Lee's, and simultaneously like we've been here for too long, just trying to make it to Thursday, May 23rd, 2019. And now we're here. As I thought about giving this speech earlier this year, I was gleeful, hoping that I would impart wisdom and advice that would rival Steve Jobs and Michelle Obama. It's been my dream since middle school to be a commencement speaker. However, as the days grew near, I came to the tragic realization that I have no wise or timeless words to impart today, at least nothing that could rival Michelle. But I figured that I would share an honest reflection of what these past 4 years have meant to me and what I hope that it means to all of us. In all honesty, over the past year, I didn't think that I would make it here today. About 2 months ago, I sat in the registrar's office as they explained to me that if I took a medical drop, I wouldn't have enough credits to graduate. And after an already hard week and a long night in the library before, I tried to remain calm, hold back the tears, as I explained to my parents that I may not be graduating today. If you saw me that day, you'd probably notice bags under my eyes and the cup of coffee that I was holding onto for dear life. I'm sure many of us can relate and have been there ourselves. So how did I go from that horrible day in March to speaking today before you all? As I moped around that day, ready for the next set of bad news, my friends and advisors responded with affirming text messages and phone calls assuring me that I would walk this stage today. Those same people helped me track down syllabi and transcripts from summer courses that allow me to stand here now. And when I think about what's made my WNL experience great, I am certain every single time that it is the people. For me, it's not the rich historical campus or the beautiful Shenandoah Mountains or the charming small town. It simply is the people. It's the professors who assure us of our potential in moments when we worry that we failed, the kind university staff who greet us with a warm smile and hello every day, the advisors and role models who serve as an example of who we hope to become, the classmates who reach out when they don't see us in class, and the friends who stay up all night talking about everything, from the new Netflix show you just binged when you should have been studying for finals, to deep existential crises of what you're going to do with your lives. It simply is the people. The people who celebrate you in the good times and pick you up and put you back together in the bad times. Our experiences at WNL may differ, but our love for many of the people here is what we have in common. We can find history, mountains, and charm elsewhere, but I am certain you won't find the same people. I could go on and on about the gracious community that I found here, but this speech would be dishonest and unfair to our time here to pretend that all of our memories of Washington and Lee are rosy. While I'm sure many of us share an incomparable love for this place and its people, many of us also know that the past 4 years haven't been sunshine and rainbows. We've felt great pain, sadness, heartbreak, and loss in our time here. There are nights when we wondered if the 4 years were worth it, if the cups of coffee or cans of Monster partnered with little sleep was worth the stress, the large sum of money, and the pieces of paper we're about to receive. There are days when we questioned if all the energy and passion we put into this institution would ever really change it from the Southern, white, conservative, wealthy image it has so long held to a place where people can feel truly welcomed, supported, and included. These past 4 years have been some of the best, I'm sure, but they've also been some of the hardest. I found myself often wondering if I, a first-generation migrant, first-generation American college student, and a woman of color, was meant to be here. I've questioned the pace of the steps towards change that our university has made and what it really means to manage the plurality of our history with the inclusion of our whole community. And all the while, we've faced personal tragedies, failure, and concerns for our own safety and futures in an ever-changing political climate. Now, I don't want to dampen the celebratory mood of this day. Rather, I hope it assures all of you of your strength and resilience. That is only part of what has brought you here on this hot and sunny day. Washington and Lee is not perfect. It never was, and it likely never will be. And to pretend otherwise would be a disservice to the complexity of this institution and the past 4 years of our lives. As you celebrate and think back on these days, I hope that you'll embrace the successes and the struggles that have made us the people that we are in this very moment. And in a few minutes, we'll walk across the stage and go from students to graduated alumni, and in the coming days, many of us will pack our things and depart Lexington. And this time next week, we'll likely be somewhere else, maybe in our beds at home, just waking up, or preparing to start internships, jobs, and graduate school. I do not think I need to tell you that what awaits us in the future is not easy, comfortable, or fair. We will find ourselves again wondering if the work we do is worth the discomfort, sleepless nights, or little pay, and question if what we're doing is actually making a difference at all. But in those moments, I hope that you'll think back to the challenges you faced these 4 years as a show of your strength and courage. So, that is my charge to you, the class of 2019, that you'll take in the miracle that is today and thank all the people who helped you get here, family, friends, professors, peers, for challenging and supporting you, academically, physically, emotionally, and financially. But I also hope that in the coming months, as we spread across the country and the globe, that you'll remember all you learned here at Washington and Lee, and consider the impact that you've made here. I'd like to think that this place is a little bit better because we went here, and that the people that we were as first-year students would be proud of the people that we've become today. It's been an interesting, hard, surprising, and painful 4 years, to say the least, and the people who leave this university today have grown from the people who entered it on September of 2015. So my friends, peers, and fellow graduates, it's an honor to share these memories and this community with you over the past 4 years, and I look forward to changing the world with you. Thank you, congratulations, and I love you 3,000.